Velkommen til Fotopodden, din podcast om alt som har med fotografi, videografi og kamerautstyr å gjøre.
We are joined today from Ireland by George Karbus. He's a wildlife photographer and Nikon ambassador, and today we're going to talk about just that, photography and Nikon, amongst other things, of course. Welcome, George.
Well, thanks so much to having me. Yeah, I love Norway, so happy to be back, at least virtually today. And yeah.
You've been in Norway a couple of times, haven't you?
Yeah, I love Norway. I was there at least 6 times now, and usually coming towards the winter time. I love Norwegian orcas and wildlife up north. So I've been a lot up in north part of Norway, and usually chasing the orcas. Yeah. Not chasing, it's a bad word, but like trying to work with orcas and humpback whales when you have your herring season on.
Talk to us about that process a bit when you're filming, say, like underwater, trying to catch like pictures of orcas and stuff.
Yeah, like the orcas in Norway, it's pretty challenging subject. Orcas coming to feed on the herring, and it's usually happening. The best time of the year for that is November, because it's the start of the herring run in north of Norway, and also orcas and humpback whales follow them into the fjords. But the big problem is light. There is a very small amount of light this time of the year, and the days are getting shorter and shorter, and literally within a week it's polar nights. Up to Christmas you have like almost dark there. So it's pretty challenging because there is a very little light, very small contrast underwater. The water is pretty clear, but the contrast is pretty low, and it's challenging conditions. Water is cold and low low temperatures, and it's a challenging subject, challenging conditions, but that's what I liked, and I was dedicated a lot towards this subject, and I was lucky. 1 year was especially really, really good. I bet it was like 4 years ago outside Tromsø, and I had a beautiful, amazing week with orcas, and I was able to capture amazing images, and I spent every day 4 hours with hunting orcas and humpback whales in the water, and it was spectacular, just amazing. Yeah.
So when you say that in terms of like being lucky, how much is to get shots like that, like you do? How much is luck and how much is planning?
It's almost like to be on the right place, right time. So you need a luck to be with the animals and to get the action going on, and then you need your skills to capture that. So both are both is there. You need it's combination. I almost have to say the photographing orcas in this dark, cold conditions, it's combination of everything. You need to have a perfect gear. You have to be fit enough to keep staying with the bait ball because they constantly moving. And so you need to have a good gear. You need to have a gear which is actually able to capture, low light images. So usually very updated gear, top-notch gear, and you need to have a skills and luck. It's a combination of everything. It's very, very challenging. It's testing your really your skills and limits there. So yeah, I love it there.
I can then imagine the sort of like euphoria you get when it all comes together and you get those amazing images.
Yeah. and when you nail it, then it feels so rewarding because you were preparing for it, and of course you need a luck. Luck is always in nature photography. You need to be lucky, but also you have to go for it. When you go for it, you will get lucky eventually, but you need to keep trying.
Yeah, and that's also another thing that I think I can imagine is quite important, is having the patience to wait. Like when you say, like, sometimes you have to wait for the light to be perfect, you have to wait for the wildlife to just, like you can do a lot of planning, but you need to be patient as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not that kind of like a long lens photographer, telephoto lens photographer who made a hide and waiting in the hide for the animal to come. That's not really my style, but like I admire those people who stay there for day and nights, and it's fair play to them. But I'm more like, keep trying, try to get close, try to connect with the animal, and getting close, and eventually get lucky, or just eventually the animal will get used to me and behave kind of normally. And I'm trying to capture that, and and of course I'm watching like weather forecasts all the time, so I like to go on those really, really good days. So it's all about weather as well.
Exactly. Yeah. When you talk about how the animals get used to you being around, I saw one picture that I'm quite curious about, and it was a wild dolphin bringing you seaweed flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Explain how that happens. Like that. That must be quite insane.
Yeah, it's a wild dolphin. It's definitely the picture you saw. It's a picture of our friend dolphin, which is a wild bottlenose dolphin, but this dolphin is solitary, and it's been living on the coast where we live for many years, maybe 20 years now, and we know this dolphin for 17 years. So she's a female. We call her Malinka, which mean in Czech. I'm originally Czech, so which mean little girl. Yeah. We name her little girl because she's too cute, and so she is our friend, and she knows us so well. We develop incredible relationships, and she is she's pretty much behind all my success and behind all my photography career. And she changed our lives for sure. So I practice on her a lot, my photography. She teach me free dive properly, how to move in the water, how to approach animals like without disturbing, and she teach me so much. So she's amazing. She's amazing creature, which we love so much, and which we spend lots of time in the water. And I'm very grateful to be able to document this relationship over 17 years now. And those pictures of her and maybe my wife Kate, she has an amazing relationship with her, and I've been documenting it for 17 years, and those pictures are really, really popular. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, I hope we're gonna bring a film about us very soon. It's been we working on it. It's in process, and I hope in the middle of winter it will come up.
And talk about the area that you live in, because like you say, you're not from Ireland, but you moved there 17 years ago. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what it was about the place that made you fall in love with it?
Yeah, because my story is I grew up in concrete blocks apartments in Czech Republic city. And most of my childhood, I was just doing sports and spending time on the playground. And since early age, I was dreaming about to live, how it would be to live by the sea, live by the ocean. And when I was like in teenage age, maybe 13 years old, 14, I saw a movie. I remember it was a movie with Patrick Swayze, Point Break.
Point Break, yeah, classic.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah.
And Patrick Swayze was like doing beautiful maneuver. He was doing a layback under the wave. And I was like, look, this sport looks so incredible. I just love it. And since that time, I was dreaming about to learn to surf and to live by the ocean. So when I was 19, after my school, I decided to move to California. But at that time, and it was like, I'd say 23 years ago, it wasn't that easy for young people to go to California. So I didn't get a visa. So instead of that, I end up in Mallorca, in a Mediterranean island, and Spain, and I stayed there for 5 years. So it was my alternative for California, but it was great. I was young and I met a great group of people, and we were living together and having so much fun on the sun and living by the sea. But I was still missing, after 5 years, I was still dreaming about the ocean, surfing waves. Mallorca was good. We were free diving and we were cliff jumping and we had lots of fun. We drink lots of beers there as well at the sunset. But it wasn't still it. So there I met my partner, Kate, and we moved to Canaries where I started to surf. And from Canaries, in the Canaries, I bought a magazine and there was like beautiful article about Ireland. And I just fell in love with those pictures in the magazine, and there were like beautiful green cliffs and green rolling hills, and people were playing guitar on the cliffs, and down there were waves, people surf. I was like, look how fresh this looks like. After 5 years living in dry places like Mallorca or Canaries, I just fell in love with the freshness of the place. And so we decided to go and try. So we save up for the car, bought a car, and drive to Ireland. And yeah, when we came here on the West Coast, we just fell in love with the place instantly. The coastline is so beautiful, it's like rugged and wild, and people were so nice to us. And the music, culture, everything was new and fresh, and we love it. And and a few months after that, we met this dolphin, Malinka. And that was it. And I started to surf here. The waves were pretty good. It's cold, it's rough, but the waves are good. We had a dolphin and we had these beautiful seascapes, which inspired me to start taking pictures. And that was pretty much the story to come here. And since that, it's been like that for 17 years. Just pure love, dedication, passion for photography, passion for wild, capturing beauty, and
but that, like you said, like capturing beauty is like the essence, like you said, of like wanting to get into photography. Did the place that you moved to in Ireland kind of like fast inspired you to start taking pictures?
It does, yeah. I already started snapping shots in Mallorca. I had a point and shoot film camera, Konica. And I was able to, get some good shots even that time, developing on the film and stuff. But when I came to Ireland, it was the start of digital era, 17 years ago. And the first digital cameras were coming up. And after a few months working in hotel, I was able to save up for my first digital camera, like a proper SLR. I remember it was a Nikon D200.
Yep.
And since that, I'm just shooting with Nikon. But I was lucky to start with to be at the start of the digital era. So, I pick it up really early and start editing photos. I even look at looking my editing like 17 years ago, it was pretty bad, but still, I was at the start of this new era, which was pretty cool. Yeah. And now we have like a new era of mirrorlesses, which makes the photography again easier and more accessible for more people. So it's a revolutionary as well. But I think the transition from film to digital was much more revolutionary, because there was something really new. Suddenly you didn't have to go to you didn't have to develop your films. You could shoot how many pictures you want. You didn't have to like save it instantly. You saw the results on the screen. And that was very, very revolutionary 17, 18 years ago. And yeah, changed the photography forever.
And I can imagine in those kind of settings that you usually take pictures in, like going digital was more of a relief than most got, I can imagine.
Yeah. It's much easier. You see what you're photographing, and and these days, as now we have mirrorlesses. Mirrorlesses, you see in your viewfinder or LCD exactly your exposure. It wasn't there with digital SLRs. Digital SLRs, you still, it wasn't the picture what you see in the viewfinder. So it was a little bit tricky. You could go wrong. But with mirrorless, it's just incredible, and you can focus all over the screen. The camera literally focusing for you, and it's just it's amazing. Yeah.
But I think it's also good to have been a part of that analog era in terms of like being able to sometimes use the skills that you learn by shooting analog in digital. Say, for instance, you wanna, at some cases, the autofocus doesn't really work in different kind of settings and stuff like that, but it becomes like it's a different discipline you need to have when you're shooting analog. And I think that's like a nice thing to actually have experience using.
Yeah, for sure. I have to say, I wasn't like at that time when I shoot on film. I as I said, I only had a point and shoot camera, but like I never had a like proper analog SLR, and never get into the like a home film development thing. But it's definitely a beautiful process, and many people still keep doing that, which is amazing, and I like it. But yeah, I'm happy. I at least I experience how hard it is to shoot on film, not seeing the results like before it was way harder to get a good shots and sharp shots and everything. Yeah.
Do you still sometimes shoot analog though? Or
Pardon?
Do you shoot analog sometimes still, or is it all digital?
No, I don't have any film cameras this moment. I'm just full on digital.
Yeah, fair enough. I still have one analog camera that I bring with me sometimes just for fun. Mm-hmm. And what I do like about it is that I have one roll of film, and every time I use it, I shoot maybe 2 pictures, maybe 3. And it takes about half a year sometimes to fill up the film. So when I develop it, I've forgotten all the shots that I took, and then you sort of like see through like a nice kind of like a memory bank.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it.
Nice. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about your history with Nikon then, because you said you started with Nikon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my first digital camera I couldn't afford straight away the Nikon D200. I had, I think I remember I bought like Olympus C5060. It was like a little kind of point and shoot digital, but pretty capable camera. And I even had a housing for maybe 6 months. But then when I get my Nikon D200, it was pretty good camera. And I think the first digital Nikon was D70. kind of affordable Nikon camera, but I skipped that one and bought D200. And pretty much since that, I was upgrading all the time. I went to D300 up to, I don't remember even the names of that, but D300. And then there was D700 was really good camera, D800, D850, and I had a D3, D4S, D5, all these amazing cameras. And for me, D850 was pretty revolutionary camera. D5 was amazing camera. And I remember people were talking about D3. That was revolutionary camera for many people. And now we are excited. We are all excited about Nikon Z9, which might be hopefully another kind of revolutionary camera for Nikon.
Yeah.
And we are all super psyched about that.
When the mirrorless cameras came out, did you jump on the opportunity to try them out right away, or were you a bit skeptical?
I was skeptical.
Yeah.
I was, because as we know, like Sony started bringing some mirrorlesses, and a couple of friends, they had them, and I look at them and say, oh no, that's not my thing, and stuff like that. When Nikon brought Z7, I was a bit skeptical, but then after 6 months, I got the camera. Nikon lent me the camera, and I was like, okay, maybe. But after a while, I really enjoy it, and especially working with people.
Yeah.
For portraitures, for generally working with people, the mirrorless, it's amazing. Yeah, and even for landscapes, it's amazing because it's easy to compose through LCD. I started to literally shoot almost 90%, unless I'm using really big lens, I'm shooting 90% through LCD.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not looking into, I'm not looking into the viewfinder anymore because it's just easy to compose, easy to focus, move around, find the right composition, especially when you work with people, when you photographing people and there is more than one person. It's just so easy to focus and compose properly. For weddings, it's just amazing weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be silent as well. It doesn't have to make.
It can be silent. You can switch off the sounds, and it's brilliant. Yeah, it's definitely change photography again.
Absolutely, I agree. I was skeptical first as well, a bit, but then once you get used to it, it's hard going back, I think.
Yeah. Only thing what annoys me on the beginning was, let's say when I was on the boat and I was shooting like jumping dolphins or jumping whales from the boat. You need on those situations, I couldn't compose through the viewfinder because you want to have like camera securely, like you want to have the camera steady.
Yeah.
Because you kind of on the rocky boat and you have bigger lens, so you really have to use the viewfinder. And what I didn't like on the beginning was every time I look into the viewfinder, it took a half a second to the picture to show up.
Yeah.
And those half a second could cost you like a really good image.
Yeah.
But you find a solution how to work around. Basically, usually I just press the shutter or the focus button before I put it onto my face, so the picture's already there. So I know where I'm composing, what I'm focusing for, and it works pretty well. But like on the beginning, I didn't know how to deal with this problem, and it annoys me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That, like you said, one of the things you get used to after a while, and the viewfinder resolution and response on the cameras has been improved since the beginning. Yeah. At the beginning, it was a lot of people getting a bit annoyed about how the viewfinder wasn't responding the way they want it to be.
Mhm.
But that's after a while it usually gets better. Yeah. You did some shots as well with the new Nikon CFC, didn't you? ZFC.
ZFC,
Yeah.
Yeah, ZFC. I was like I had a privilege to almost like testing this camera. I mean, we were doing the promo video. It was like a little family project. I was approached by Nikon Europe on the beginning of the year. They're just saying there will be a new kind of interesting retro camera which will suit to families and stuff like that. And because my life, it's all about, family, taking my family with me and whole family living like an adventure life. So Nikon was very interested to work on this story. The story of the camera, the kind of camera really suits to our story and the way how we live. So it was a great project. And so Nikon film team came here in spring and brought like a couple of cameras, ZFCs, and we give it to kids, we give it to my wife Kate, and everybody get really excited about the camera, because for kids it was much smaller, much lighter, much easier to use. The very angle LCD was great there for the kids. They could really play around. They didn't feel so responsible. Like, let's say if I put this camera to my daughter, 7 years old daughter, she wouldn't feel comfortable. First of all, it's heavy, and then she knows it's expensive. So, she would feel she wouldn't feel comfortable at all to using it. But with the ZFC, it's a small, lightweight camera, and that's what they really like. And of course, we like the design, and everything is about design these days. And that look, the 1980 look of the ZFC, it's gorgeous. And it's great looking camera. So I was saying in the video, it's that camera which you can actually have on your neck 24/7, all the time, and capturing those special moments which you wouldn't get normally with a bigger setup like I normally use, because my gear is always in the backpack, and I always pull out my gear when I see something nice, but like I'm kind of prepared for that. But this camera is kind of like capturing those moments with just happening instantly. And because it's so gorgeous, you can have it on your neck ready anytime. And it's a lovely looking camera, retro looks. And you can take it. It's like a city camera, walk through the city camera, capturing city life. It's a great camera for this kind of stuff. Yeah.
And like you said as well, it doesn't kind of frighten people in the same way as a big mirrorless camera with a big lens. So people are more like chilled when you take pictures around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, many people, if you show up with massive 50 1.2 lens like this and start photographing people, they will get uncomfortable. Maybe take a while before they get like relax. But with a small camera like that, it's pretty easy. And it's definitely a big advantage for that.
My experience in terms of interviewing a lot of photographers on this podcast is that there's a lot of professional photographers. They have kind of a hard time explaining what makes them fall in love with the cameras they pick. They just say like it's just a feeling. Like if it's a Canon user, they just say like they just love the look of it. They don't know what it is. Like Fujifilm, like Sony, they pick it up and it just feels right. I don't know if you have that same kind of experience, or you know exactly what you love about the cameras that you use.
Yeah, I had a chance to try a lot of cameras. There was a moment when I was approached by Sony and they sent me some to try, and I was filming with Canon R5 and some filming projects. And so yeah, I try all like best brands on the market. And what I really like about Nikon, I've been with Nikon. I'm not saying it just because I'm Nikon ambassador. I'm Nikon ambassador because first of all, I love that brand. I love their lenses. I've loved that camera since early age. And I only became an ambassador, like, I'd say 3 years ago. Yeah. So that was kind of well earned, after so many years shooting with their gear and be loyal to the brand. They finally noticed me, and it's a big honor to be a European Nikon ambassador. But like, what I love about Nikon is, of course, the quality of the lenses are incredible. And I love their files. The picture, their pictures have amazing colors straight from the camera, and that's what I love about them so much. And the colors are incredible. I also love their menus. The navigation, the menu is so easy. If I compare it with Canon, I had a chance to work with Canon R5. Don't get me wrong, it's a great camera. It shoots some amazing videos, but the menu is just horrible. It's just horrible. And I have to say a little bit that about Sony as well. And even the distribution of buttons, it doesn't feel right. I'm so used to it, Nikon. And I didn't like the Sony colors. I know their focus system is a little bit above everybody now, but like, I'm pretty sure Nikon Z9 will catch up and show the quality. Yep. And I love Nikon. They always deliver amazing products, and they're on top of the world in the camera gear always.
I agree with you on that in terms of like Nikon, the colors that comes out of the camera. They are amazing, and there's something about them that it just looks really, really nice. And a lot of Nikon shooters say that as well about the colors. They say like it just looks right. Like it's a feeling. It looks you get the result that you want. The last year and a half, they've been, different for a lot of people. I don't know what it's like been for you, since, if you travel a lot usually, and then all of a sudden you're not able to, but like being basically stuck in Ireland, I can imagine, for a year and a half, it doesn't look like the worst place to be during a pandemic.
No, it wasn't. It's kind of, when the first lockdown came, I think it was in spring, and the weather was great and everything was fine because it was just quiet, and we live in this beautiful part close to the coastline, and even there was a 5K range you could actually travel 5 kilometers, even with, we always break it. We went like 20, 30, no problem, because police knows, and everything here in Ireland is super chilled.
Yeah,
I'd say in Norway, in the rural area, would be very similar. And because I know Norway and I've been there many times, so I know people are pretty chilled there. And so it was very kind of relaxing, and I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the coastline without tourists and without any rush. And I have to say, living here on the west coast of Ireland, you kind of live in isolation. You're already kind of in the lockdown. Anyway, you're kind of locked by the place.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a huge thing. But when it comes to, when the lockdown come to 6 months and 8 months and year, then you start feeling like, look, I would love to travel. I would love to go to places where it's sun. I love sunshine, and here in Ireland we don't have many.
Yeah.
And I love to feel the sun and go to tropical places. So I was missing that. So I really have to mentally work to accept that I cannot travel. I had to kind of meditate into things like, look, okay, you are locked down in a beautiful place. It's not sunny maybe, but it's beautiful. At that time, it's for you just to slow down, appreciate what you have, appreciate everything where you live, and focus just for yourself. And so I did. I read lots of amazing kind of deep inner work books, which I enjoy a lot. I did lots of yoga. I was missing saunas a lot because all the swimming pools and all the leisure centers were closed. Yeah. And we like sauna here in wintertime. So I miss my sauna.
We do as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I miss the sauna. That was really huge miss for me. But on the other hand, we just work here, and I kind of, after I start accepting that we cannot travel, it was fine. And it was tough for many years. I can imagine for people who got stuck in the cities, it was much, much tougher. But for us, it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, living in a city during the pandemic wasn't great.
Yeah,
it wasn't fun at all. It was like nothing. Like when you're used to a lot of things happening all the time that you can sort of like pick and choose from, and all of a sudden nothing happens. Like everything is shut. You're not allowed to do anything, and then also you're stuck in kind of a small apartment in like just a random building. And you're not allowed to like basically talk to anyone, and you got to keep your distance from people constantly, wear masks, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't that much fun.
Yeah,
especially during winter as well. Like it gets dark quickly, and
you live in the city to have all the fun of the city, the culture, to go to concerts, to go to pubs, to meet people, to go to cinema, to go to sport events, and suddenly you don't have it at all. So the question is why I'm living in the city if I don't have this,
There's a lot of people have moved out of Oslo, and I can imagine a lot of people moving out of the different cities as well around the world just to...
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the price of properties here where we live, it went triple.
Really?
Yeah, wow. Because it's just... rich people from, let's say, Dublin, they just realize like why we living in Dublin when we can kind of, work from home, to be on internet and living on the west coast of Ireland when everything is peaceful and beautiful. I mean, the weather is pretty brutal here, but can be brutal. But lots of people move here and buying houses here, and for local people, it's very hard to buy anything here now because it's just so overpriced. Yeah.
That's happened a couple of places in Norway as well. Like people buying holiday houses as well. So the locals are not able to buy any. They're just buying out all the houses. And the problem is then is if it's like a holiday house, there's no people there during off season. And it's just like it becomes like kind of like a ghost town area. So what about the plans ahead then? Now that the world is hopefully becoming a bit more normal again, what are your future plans?
Look, I'm not making big plans, but I would love to start. Yeah, of course, we like to travel. We love place where we live, but I like to travel at least 3 times a year. I would like to have a kind of longer trip, somewhere beautiful. And my son is 12 years old now, and he's really good surfer. So we always planning to go somewhere where is beautiful nature, but also good surf. So he can train. So yeah, we have a couple of plans. We dreaming about Costa Rica because we never been there. So Costa Rica is in my mind. We were in the Azores a few weeks ago. It was the first trip after the pandemic. And it was great. It felt good. I picked up the ear infection, which I'm still dealing with. It was unpleasant, but yeah, it was a good trip, and we love Azores. It's a beautiful place. It's close. It's still Europe, and it's amazing for wildlife, for marine life, and the overall vibes really good, especially in summer. But yeah, I might come to Norway in November for Orcas again. We'll see. And yeah, just go with the flow. I'm also finishing my long-term project. I bought a Mercedes Sprinter van last October, and I was converting it to camper.
Yeah.
And I'm finishing up now. It cost me lots of nerves, lots of money, but it's looking great. I made it inside like all wooden, inspired by Norwegian designs, because I love your houses in Norway, how everything is wooden and feels so good. And yeah, so yeah, all my van inside is all wooden, looking great.
Cool.
So yeah, traveling with the van all around the country and around Europe with my family. We always travel together, and yeah, just having fun. I'm not really pushing things, I'm not, before maybe I was more like, oh yeah, I have to go there to capture this. I'm not like that anymore. I'm not pushing really myself. I'm not forcing. I go more with the flow. And it's much easier for my nervous system because I was like photo hunter for many years, and it's tough, to constantly deliver really high quality, amazing images. It's a tough job, and if you keep it doing for a decade, it's you get exhausted. So I'm more relaxed now, and just taking it easier. I might be taking like, let's say, I always say, if you take 10 amazing images a year, that's really good.
Yeah.
And 10 amazing photos which you could put your portfolio is really good. And yeah, if I get 6 a year, 6 really top-notch images, that's fine. I'm happy. And the magic is always behind the corner. So if you believe in nature, if you have your heart open, the magic always comes to you. And yeah.
Amazing. Well, we wish you all the best in the future, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us on the podcast.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me today. And yeah, best of luck, Thomas. And yeah.
Hopefully we'll get you to Oslo to do a lecture in person or a workshop or something like that.
It would be great.
Yeah.
I love Oslo. Yeah. Love Oslo. Yeah, it would be brilliant.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. See ya. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.